There you go. And you say off camera that you don't usually do this.
No, I don't typically do this, but I wanted to come in because I'm more concerned about the flu. Our youngest daughter has got more kids out this year from the flu, and I want to encourage her to get a shot because she's got a little bit of trepidation about it, so Daddy's got to go through with it.
When you say out, is she a teacher or...
No, our daughter's a pupil.
Oh, okay, there you go. So it's a concern, obviously, this year. Is it more so in your mind because of H1N1?
It certainly publicizes it, but as far as the kids that are out right now, it's just from regular flu, and then we've got that other one that's coming. We're waiting on the vaccine for that, I believe,
yeah.
As far as the H1N1.
And do you plan to come out for that one as well?
That's an interesting question. I may have to do that. I haven't made up my mind yet.
Did it hurt?
No, it's easy, and I waited maybe 5 minutes the whole process took. They need customers. Y'all need to come out.
There you go. Dave Crutchfield, thank you so much, sir. Heading off to work?
Heading to work.
There you go. Okay, there you go, guys. And again, guys, this session runs until about 9 o'clock this morning. There's another session later on today at 4 o'clock until 7 o'clock today here at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. They'll be offering both the mist and the shots. As you just heard Dave say, there is a charge about $25. We'll have more on this story throughout the day over on our sister station, Wish TV. For now, we're live from the Indiana State Fairgrounds this morning. Phil Sanchez.
So what'd you think of the dry flu? You know, gee, just drive right on through. It's rather interesting, huh? And the pandemic and the hype and the pandemic and the hype and the outbreak. And they keep telling you all those words. Oh, swine flu, flu. Like we've never had the flu before. Rather interesting, huh? This is getting a lot like 1976, isn't it? Yeah, rather interesting. So anyway, U.S. dollar loses global reserve status. I told you this was going to happen, and I told you this years ago. Follow the money. Watch some of the previous shows. Maybe you can plan. Maybe you can save your family. Prepare for hyperinflation. But anyway, this year, loses its reserve status to the euro and the yen. Now that countries are dumping dollars, inflation and recession must become worse. And that's out of the New York Post. Not me. That was the New York Post. And if you want to look it up, it was October 13th. Okay, California Governor Schwarzenegger, whose father was a Nazi colonel, and his stepfather was a Nazi colonel, and he wears the Nazi death's head belt buckle when he's on the cover of Newsweek on Time, yeah? Okay, well, Arnie, who we all love because he's Muscle Arnie's done a couple things. Find out if the water's been shut off to the farmers in California. I'm not going to blame Arnie for that, but, you know, gee, what's going to happen to the cost of your food while your money is losing its value? Yeah, what are they planning? But it's important because what happened, he signs ammo regulation bill. Take a look at that. Do some homework. What does that mean? What's the end result of that? Okay. Anyway, here we go. Bleak job market enables Pentagon to reach military recruitment goals for the first time since 1973. That's out of Reuters. Not me. October 13th, Reuters. And once again, who created this economic collapse by design? Why don't you take a look at that show? It's called Economic Collapse by Design. Okay, here you'll love this. The United Nations and Interpol. What's the UN doing with Interpol? But it gets interesting. Meet to discuss the use of a global database to be used by global police forces. Global police? This is out of the New York Times. Global police. Do you see all this globalist stuff? Thank you, Al Globalist Gore. Thank you, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Mr. Rockefeller, okay? Those wonderful people called the Rothschilds. You ought to see how... I won't get going anyway. The U.S. suffers unbelievable revenue shortages. The states, United States, the actual states, okay? Higher taxes and shutdown of services loom. Well, prepare for that, okay? You'll love this. 10,000 apply for factory jobs. That's from the Courier Journal. All right. The reason I gave you that news and stuff, economically and stuff, now let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Geithner. Yes, your new Treasury Secretary, right? Timothy Geithner. But before I do, have a little clip. This one's this is a trailer for a movie we'll be viewing, Aaron Sharon, called Fall of the Republic. But here's a little economic takeover piece for you.
They've run the system, the whole economic system of the world for the last 250 years. So why shouldn't they also run the economic system for the next few hundred years?
So is this some sort of new world order, which Gordon Brown kind of alluded to?
I think a new world order is emerging.
We have to stand up to preserve a republic here and a rule of law, which is under dire threat.
For a couple of hours, you could say Mr. Obama was president of the world.
Obama has made it quite clear by his actions, never mind his words, his actions, as to who owns him, who he works for, and who he serves, and it's not the American people.
Just as George W. Bush betrayed his foolish followers, so must Obama, because his only allegiance is to his offshore masters.
Summers tells Obama what to do. Summers tells Geithner what to do.
So we had Snow, we had Paulson, now we have Geithner. All these people cut from the same bowl of cloth.
All you folks don't even realize that you're helping people that you're associated with, and you should be recusing yourself.
I behaved with the...
You don't think you should have recused yourself?
Every time in history when a group of banks in conjunction with the government was given the power to expand the money supply at will, those economic systems always collapsed.
If they make a mistake, they get bailed out. If everyone else makes a mistake, they get put in jail, called a terrorist.
The tune of $23.7 billion worth of taxpayer exposure for the bailouts is quite striking.
This is by probably an order of magnitude the biggest fraud in history.
Why would you need international bankers? Why would any government agree to use them?
It's nothing more than a private, hostile, corporate takeover of every sovereign nation on earth.
So for the first time in history, we really have this new form of an empire.
Fall of the Republic. Volume 1, The Presidency of Barack Obama.
So you learn a little every day. What'd you think of that, huh? Yeah, it's not a bad piece. We're going to be airing that for you, so don't forget to tune into the Real Story Late Night Movies on Friday nights. So anyway, here's what I want to tell you. This is out of, the wonderful Bloomberg. Remember him, the richest guy in New York anyway. Some of the Treasury Secretaries, Timothy Geithner, closest aides, none of whom face Senate confirmation, earn millions of dollars a year working for Goldman Sachs, also Citicorp, okay, and other Wall Street firms. Now remember, this is Obama. I'm going to be different. I'm bringing you change. Yet he was funded, just like McCain, by Goldman Sachs. Take a look at the who gave him the money for the campaign thing. And all his buddies and all his, not just his cabinet postings, but the people behind them. It's kind of like the Rahm Emanuel, the chief of staff. Find out about the guy behind, and all the advisors. But it turns out all his advisors are making all sorts of money. And they have all sorts of connections, okay, to the globalist banksters. Yes, because when you accept the money, when they accept the money from behind the scenes, behind the doors, now they owe favors. Well, now they're making all sorts of rules and regulations. Remember the banker takeover, the economic first stimulus, we're going to bail out the bankers. Now, everything that they've done, both Bush and Obama, no difference between, have been what? Have been there to aid and assist Wall Street and these large bankers. None of it went to Main Street. All of it's sucking from Main Street, And if you walk down the street, Main Street is sucking. The economy is not doing too good. You hear that sucking sound. When 10,000 people show up for a job that only, they've got 100 jobs, When foreclosures are at an all-time high and they give the money to bankers who give themselves bonuses that exceed the profits of the company for the year. They're stealing from your grandchildren. So yeah, don't think that this economic takeover, this is a global takeover, They're crashing this economy. They're destroying our currency, devaluating it is the correct term, And you're going to be at the receiving end. And I got to ask you, how's life going to be for your children and your grandchildren if they do this to them? Well, that's just a little thought. So anyway, here's a little thing. Show them the picture. And the picture we're going to hear is the Obama youth, Homeland Security wants to recruit the Girl Scouts. Isn't that interesting? Boy, Obama wants to talk to the children. Now, Homeland Security, Now, if they're so secure, I swear it's the Department of Homeland In Security, But now we got to take off our shoes at the airport, Homeland Security, all this based upon a lie called 9/11, a false flag event, Where they used it to manipulate the people. We'll get into mind control in a bit, But once again, I've got to ask you, 19 guys in a cave, do you really still buy that story? Yeah.